What's up, healers? Marina Simone in the house. I am not. I get to interview the Eric Worre tonight, and I just want to share with you guys. I know some of you are like,
I know who he is. I haven't really tapped into a lot of his trainings.
or some of you are like,
I know exactly who he is. I tap into all of his trainings.
but I wanted to share quickly for you the story of why I chose him as that next mentor for myself. One, his wife is hot and I love her nails. And that was a no-brainer for me. Okay. And her name's Marina. Done, right? The second piece is the way that Eric and Marina have truly stood up for this industry of network marketing. How many of you have heard someone say before,
that a pyramid scheme? Or, oh no, only the people at the top make all the money. Or network marketing isn't a real business.
right? And I'm like, ooh, let's send them a podcast from Eric Worre and prove how powerful network marketing is. And let me explain how much he stands up and he promotes this industry for us, okay? He's helped, and he'll correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the last time I interviewed him, he said 10,000 network marketers just like you get to six figures and beyond. Is that not insane? So tonight we're going to talk about the 3 different phases that I guarantee you want to identify what you are in. So this way you can take your business to 6 figures and beyond. Hi, Eric.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? You like my green?
Huh?
It says
Yeah,
the
green's popping. I have to ask.
Yeah.
Because it's too far away for me to show you my wife's heel collection. I go through 3 different internet zones, but between here and there. But as a guy, I will just tell you, I'm like, oh, that's your style. Okay. I look at the wall of shoes and I go, oh, that's her style. And then we're walking somewhere in some place and say, oh, so you like those kind of shoes? She's like, no, are you crazy? That's what are you talking about? That's the exact same thing. So I don't buy shoes, but she buys all the shoes. Let me ask you this. What is the fanciest shoe that is the most uncomfortable?
Oh my God, I can tell you right now, it's the Versace pair that
Really?
Brenda bought. So I went and copied her and went and bought them and I wore them and I literally was dying within 5 minutes and I'm the high heel queen.
It's not the Louboutins. Those
I don't even buy those. I can't. My feet don't fit in them the right way.
That's what I'm saying. They're super uncomfortable, right?
They're the worst. I won't even buy them. Nope.
So,
No red bottoms here.
yeah. So I look, and same thing. I've got to go for comfort. My wife says, fashion is pain. You just have to take it. Fashion is pain. You don't understand. You're a guy. You're stupid. So I'm like, okay, fine. You just get what you want. I'll get out of the way.
So my mom actually gave birth to me. When she went into labor, she had her pink, fluffy high heels on. So it's this big joke that she had me with high heels on. My mom's the type that wears high heels with bathing suits. So I kind of grew up with the high heel thing. And that's how I see mothers, is in high heels. So that's how the whole thing came together. So it's
I'm all about comfort. I'll get fancy, but it's still got to be comfortable. For me, I'll just one more thing about shoes, and then I'll
yeah.
The fancy sneakers.
Yeah.
The fancy Louis and the fancy all that stuff. They're so uncomfortable. They're so heavy. They're so uncomfortable. The fancy sneakers. I have a whole bunch of them. The Dior ones, uncomfortable.
Yep.
The Louis ones, uncomfortable.
Yep.
The Nike ones, they're pretty comfortable.
The Nike ones are really comfortable.
Really I'm just saying. Or what's the one with O on the side? The sneaker with O on the side.
Balance?
No, On Clouds.
On
Clouds, super comfortable. I'm wearing On Clouds right now. Super
nice.
comfortable. Anyway, so enough about shoes.
I mean, no, we can sit here
We
and
need to talk about
how
how entrepreneurs can buy all the shoes they want.
Yes, buy all the shoes.
Unlimited shoes.
Unlimited shoes. That's our new mission statement, to buy so we don't have to hide from our husbands.
My wife says you can't have too many shoes, too many bags, and too many jackets.
The jackets. Oh, yes. I have an obsession, especially when you're on stage, because they look jackets make you stand out.
Yeah.
I have this jacket that I tried on. Anyway, stop, Marina. Okay, so let's get into the stages, right?
Okay, fine.
So when we were talking before, you said there were 3 different phases, right? that a network marketer is kind of in their business. And I thought that was really powerful and eye-opening. And I know that all of my leaders are going to be sharing this, especially with their teams. But I want to encourage you, if you're a leader in the network marketing space, what Eric's about to share, it really helped me look at my team and decide, okay, what phase are they in? What phase do they think they're in? And how can I get them to that next phase and guide them and support them on it? So I would say definitely share this episode with those team members and leaders that you have.
All right. So let me give you, there's three, I've been around network marketing for 35 years. And I've built in the field, built teams, more than 500,000 people. I made a $1 million earner a lot of years personally. And I'm more proud about how many people I've helped to get to high levels. I've helped over 500 people get to 7 figures a year, over 10,000 people get to 6 figures a year. I've helped millions of people have some level of success, build a part-time business. I know what I'm talking about. And I kind of see everything from around the world. And when I look at a career, right? You're thinking about a career. If you have a career for UPS, or you have a career for working for some company, or a career as a hair technician, or a nail technician, or whatever it happens to be, a career, whatever that is, there's different phases. And in network marketing is no different. Phase 1 that I found is the most kind of distinctive is from launch until you get 10 recruits. And this is not 10 people that are really just a customer. This is 10 people that have the intention of building a business. Okay. The intention of building a business. So 0 to 10, and you get that done, right? And the second phase is from 10 recruits to 6 figures. And that now it becomes about skills. It becomes about hard work, duplication. You got to learn how to do some things. From 10 recruits to 6 figures. Somewhere in that journey, you should be able to go full time, right? This transition from launching from part-time to full-time if you want to, okay? And then third phase is from 6 figures to 7 figures and beyond, to continue to grow and scale that business. So I'd ask your audience, which one are you, 1, 2, or 3 currently? And there's no shame in ones at all. Most are in phase 1. So we have to help figure that first piece out. There's no shame in that, where you're at. Everything that was big starts small. At one stage, Marina was in stage 1, and one stage I was in stage 1. But let me ask you a question. If people don't get out of stage 1, will they stay in this business? Probably not. They might keep selling for a while, but what we really want to focus on is help them get that first 10 done, and then teach them how to be a professional. In that first 10, they're going to learn some things. They're going to get a check. They're probably going to rank advance. They're going to build some confidence. They're going to learn basically how this thing works. And then we can start to lean into skills. We can start to lean into becoming a pro, being able to go full time if you want to, being able to fire your boss, being able to take charge of your life that way. I was just looking at a podcast that I recorded this last week, and I asked this guy about entrepreneurship and network marketing. He says there's levels, and some people want to get themselves to $5,000 a month, and that's as big as their ambition to let them go. And that's great, whatever is good for them. And some people are going to go to 10, some people are going to go to 20, some people are going to go to 30, some people are going to go to 100. Some people go to 1 million, some people go to multiple millions. That's up to you. What I think we do in our business, we help people launch first, then we help them become a pro second, and then we let them go find their level. And the cool thing about what we do is you can't succeed without helping somebody else in our business. You can't succeed by hurting someone. You have to help. You have to help somebody else do well. So that's the good thing about what we do. So I saw one person mention, hey, I got 10, but I don't still have 10. That's fine. Don't worry about that. I will tell you, my first 3 years in network marketing, I learned how to recruit, but I didn't learn how to create any duplication. It took 3.5 years for that to happen. I would build up a little team. I'd build up 10 people, and then they'd fall back down to like 2 people. And then I'd build it back up to 10, 15, 20, and then it would fall back down to 5. And I did that 7 times. And I was like, there's something wrong with me, because I'd watch somebody like you, Marina, go across the stage, getting all the awards. And, how many people do you have on your team right now, approximately, or total?
Over 100,000.
Over 100,000. So she's like, oh yeah, thank you for my award. I have 100,000 people on my team. And I'd be like, what in the world? I have 7. And when I look at them, I'm a little bit depressed. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, that's my team.
Like a deflated.
I duplicated myself. Like, what is wrong with me? How do they have all of this stuff? It took me 3.5 years to finally figure out how to help them get through level 1. And then I taught the next group. I taught those people how to get the next group through level 1. And then, it started to go. Then I started having more skills, more systems, more duplication, more retention. I became a better leader. And I learned how to use all the resources available to me. I learned how to build a leadership team, all of those different things. So what I would tell any of you that are in level 1 right now, first of all, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for saying yes to being an entrepreneur. I'm proud of you for saying yes to network marketing. I'm proud of you for saying yes to your company. I'm proud of you for taking the step, because it's not easy to do. When you were first presented with it, you might have thought it was easy. But we know it's not easy to go out there and build something. And it's highly emotional. Nobody told me when I first joined network marketing it was going to be this emotional. It's because it's so highly personal. You can hide inside of a company. But in a network marketing business, as your own boss, you can't hide from anything.
Nothing.
You can't hide at all. So every mistake is magnified like crazy. So what I would tell you, no matter where, if you're in level 1 and you want to get to level 2, just focus on following instructions. Just focus on that one goal, whatever you got to do to get that thing done. Now, I will tell you, it's not like you graduated or something. You just put yourself into the starting blocks to be able to start the race. Getting the 10 gets you to a place where you say, okay, now we can run. Now we can go. So focus on getting that done. And you know what I learned, and Marina, you tell me if this is the truth for you. You know what getting 10 really requires? A decision.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And most of the time, it's like you get mad and say, you know what? This other person did it. What the heck? Enough. I'm done. I'm getting 10. I'm getting in the car. I'm not coming home until I have 10. Period. End of story. You know what I mean? I just determination. I'm going to make it happen. That's how I did my, when I got my first 10, it's just like, dang it, I'm doing it. Other people are doing it. You watch some yo-yo who doesn't have 2 marbles in their head, and they get 10 and they get rank advance and they qualify, and you're like, what in the world?
I remember my first conference for my first company, a woman walking across stage as a 7-figure earner and her saying, I don't even like people. I don't even like people. So when I was told that I have to have a relationship business, I told my sponsor, that's not going to work for me because I don't like people. And in that moment, I'm like, I like people. She did this and she doesn't even like people. And she on stage was like, I'm glad she said it, because that was a really big moment for me. I'm like, oh, anyone can do this.
You know what? I found a couple things, right? First, they say that comparison is the thief of joy. I think that's true sometimes. And sometimes comparison is rocket fuel.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? It's just like when you watch that lady, it was fuel for you.
Yeah.
It didn't discourage you. But sometimes you compare to somebody else and it's just like, well, I'll never be able to be as good as that. Or you're comparing their 25th chapter to your first chapter, stuff like that. So I've learned to do this, and this took a while to do. If comparison was helpful to me, then I used it. And if it was painful or paralyzing for me, then I ignored it. I just compared myself to myself. So I'm a competitive person. I don't know how many people out there are competitive, but I'm a competitive person. So I use that competition to say, like you did, if that person can do it, I can do it. And then I also use the inspiration of, like, I remember the top earner in my company when I first got involved. I was 23 years old, and he was like 3 years older than me, and he was making huge money. And I'm like, dang, if he could figure that out, I guess I could too. It seemed untouchable, but I could get around him. I could find a way to meet him. I'll tell you one quick story. I was struggling, right? And he was so far in my upline that he never got paid on me at all. He never got compensated on my activity at all. And somehow I got his phone number and I called him. And I'm like 27 generations below him or whatever. And he's making, I think at the time, like $100,000 a month, long time ago. And he was like, 27 and I was 24, something like that. He was going to go to Detroit, Michigan to do some meetings. I saw somebody announce he was going to go do some meetings. So I said, would you mind if I came to Michigan and I just watched you? Because I just need to see what a professional does, because I'm working hard. I'm not getting results. And he said, yeah, sure. I'm going to be here from here and here. I'm staying at this hotel. Yeah, sure. No problem. All right, cool. I have no money, nothing. I'm broke, totally broke. I get in my mint green Pontiac 6000 and I drive the 12 hours to Detroit, and I don't have the money to check into the hotel. So I sleep in my car in the parking lot, and every morning I'd have my one little suit, and I'd had a couple different shirts, and I would like towel shower or towel bathe in the lobby bathroom, put on my little suit, get a cup of the free coffee. I don't drink coffee, but I just sit there with my little cup of coffee like I was up and I just came down from my room every morning when he would come down and he'd say, okay, let's go do these meetings. We go do the meetings. I'd follow him around, and I learned so much from saying, if that guy can do it, I'm going to model what he's doing and I'm just going to do it. I'll give you one really interesting thing that happened that week. I don't know if I've ever told you this story, but I watched him do something. This is back in the days before Zoom, when people would have meetings in conference rooms and hotel meeting rooms and stuff like that. So it's a lot of like business conference room type stuff. And he was doing meetings, like 2, 3, 4 meetings a day for like a week, and every couple hours. And there'd be 10, 15, 20 people in that meeting. He'd do a presentation, same presentation every time. I thought the presentation was just okay, but he'd do the presentation. But afterwards, I watched him, and he would pick somebody out of the crowd and he'd say, come here a second. I want to talk to you about something. And he'd take them kind of down the hall, and I was like listening in, and he said, I look for talented people for a living. I look for people with high qualities. That's what I do. And out of this everybody in this room, I think you have what it takes to go to the top. I just wanted you to know that. And if you decided to do it, we could do something powerful together. And without exception, the person would say, I'm in.
Yeah.
Let's go. Thanks for that. And they go get him signed up, right? I watched him do it like 2 times. And then that evening, before I went back to my car, after he went to his room, I went back to my car, sleep in my car. I said, Jeff, what is the deal? He said, well, listen, my whole purpose for having a presentation is to get rid of all the tire kickers and find one person. So if it was a Zoom, whatever, get rid of all the tourists and find one person, pour my belief in them, get them excited about their future, let them know that we could do it together. And he said, I have huge success with that. And if I sign up one good person out of every meeting, the rest of my life, I never have to worry about anything else. Everything else is just a bonus. And I'm like, well, what do you look for? He said, well, sometimes I look for a sparkle. Sometimes I look for a little bit of interest, or they're nodding their head, or they're engaged. If I'm asking a question, they're raising their hand, whatever. I said, well, what if they're not? He said, it doesn't matter, Eric. What do you mean it doesn't matter? He said, I'll show you tomorrow. Okay. So we go to the next meeting, and there's a guy, if you've ever done a meeting or a home meeting or whatever, there's this guy who's like,
always
like this in the front row, just nasty look on his face, no reaction at all, kind of scowling and shaking his head most of the time, just the most negative person ever. And I'm like, wow, this guy's bad energy for this room. Crazy. But guess what Jeff does? At the end of the meeting, he goes to that guy, taps him on the shoulder, says, can I talk to you for a second? And I'm like, no way. So he takes that guy down, around the corner, and he says, look, I know you're putting on this tough guy thing in front of everybody. I know you're acting like this, grumpy dude, but I also know that if you decided to do this, you'd crush it. I also know maybe you've had some disappointments in the past, but you've got unfinished business when it comes to being an entrepreneur. I know it for a fact. And the guy was like, how did you know? And I'm like, no way. He took the most negative guy in the world, and all he did was single him out, give him some special attention, let him know that he believed in him and said, hey, you want to do something? Imagine when you, with your personality, you get excited, the whole world is going to step up. He's like, yeah, you're right. Let me show him what I got. I'm like, okay. So anyway, that's an example. Anytime you get together in a Zoom, like, I don't know who it is going to be. Is it Latika? Is it Arlene? Is it Shay? Is it Steven? Who is it? But there's somebody that we need to identify that is going to be the next superstar and pour belief into them. But anyway, that's an example of a lesson, example of getting around some people, example of I was hungry enough to finally learn how to be a pro. And I would use examples of inspiration, and I'd use examples of people who didn't seem like they had their act together and they were succeeding as well. Yeah. And I just eventually figured out how to do this.
Belief is such a weapon. I was writing like my next podcast on belief, and like how belief is such a weapon that's underutilized because most people don't have that belief or support from anyone, not even some of their spouses or from a family member or from even a best friend that you've had forever about this entrepreneurship journey. And that belief is what we have to instill and transfer into the other person. And I'll tell you, today was so funny. Sometimes, weird stuff happens where people are like, are you Marina Simone? And I feel so weird. It's happened like a couple times, but it happened today at my daughter's dance. We're new dance studio, and the girl's like, are you Marina Simone? This woman. And I'm like, yes. And she's like, I follow you on Facebook. She's like, I'm in network marketing too. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. It was really awesome to hear her say, I love what you say. It was very inspiring. It made me believe in myself. And then she started telling me how she's like, I kind of gave up on network marketing. And right before I left, I was like, listen, when you're ready to do this for real, hit me in my DM, because you gave up and you shouldn't have. I saw that spark in her eye. She knew that she, whatever, she just maybe didn't have that belief. And so I want to encourage all of you, that belief is such a weapon. It's so crazy how everything's in alignment with what we're talking about now and what happened today. I love it.
Yeah, belief is definitely a gift.
Yeah.
It's something that you can give to somebody else. But some of you are like, well, nobody's believing in me. Borrow ours for a moment. Nobody's believing in me either. Everybody was expecting me to fail. I had so many failures in my life up until the time I got involved in network marketing. The only thing I was good at was starting over. I mean, literally, I had no track record at all, but I had the gift of desperation. I had no choice. I finally had a vehicle to be able to go kind of pursue my dreams, right? But if we get back to recruiting for a second, let's say you're good at selling. Okay, you love your product. You're good at selling. What I realized real fast getting involved in this profession is that there's only so many sales I'm going to make. I can't reach the world by myself. If I want to reach the world, and if I want to get away from a job and have a business, some people are just selling products. They think I own my own business. No, you don't. You got a job. You're your own boss, but you have a job. You do not have a business. A business implies scale, leverage, earning when you're not involved, that type of thing. So selling, there's only so much I was going to sell, but if I could get a team to do it as well, a lot of people doing a little bit, then I could get going. So let me tell you where you build confidence and belief. You build confidence from evidence. You build confidence from actually combination of either modeling somebody else's success, having a proven plan of action, that you're following, even if it's somebody else's plan, or ultimately getting results. I have a mastermind tomorrow, and I'll give, this is for high level people, but I will tell you this, quantity is the solution to almost all of your problems. Quantity of whatever activity is going to help you is the solution to almost all your problems. Because if you do more quantity, you can get a feedback loop of saying, oh, that worked, that didn't, that worked, that didn't. And then you can get quality. But if you don't have quantity, you can't have the feedback loop good enough to be an expert. If you want to be a great dancer, guess what you got to do? You got to dance and dance and dance and dance and dance. You want to be a piano player? Guess what you got to do? Quantity, 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 feedback, 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 and then quality shows up. So it's hard to look good and get better at the same time. At some point, You got to be willing to do it messy.
Yeah.
You got to be willing to do it when it's not perfect.
Yeah.
Right? So I will give you a confession. Here's a quick confession for you. I'm an introverted person by nature. I don't know about you. Marina doesn't seem like one to me. She seems
I
like
am. The
Are you?
camera
Okay.
brings a whole nother side of me out.
All right.
For
But
sure.
a lot of people are. A lot of top earners are. You'd be surprised. Let me give you a definition. Introverted people lose energy in a crowd and they need to go recharge by themselves. Extroverted people gain energy in a crowd. You know, they need the crowd to gain energy, right? So I'll psych up for a situation, but my battery's going to go down pretty fast. I just have to know that about myself. But as an introvert, when I first started, here's my confession for you. I hated recruiting. I hated it so much. I was so uncomfortable. I was so insecure. I was so afraid of being embarrassed. I was so nervous. And they told me, guess how you overcome discomfort? You just have to do it a lot.
Mm.
And for some people that might be true, but it wasn't true for me. I never got comfortable with it. And there's this huge lie going on in the world today. And it's being told by billionaires, millionaires, titans of business. Only do what you love. Because if you only do what you love, you never work a day in your life. And it's the biggest pile of nonsense ever uttered. I do not know why the people are saying what they're saying, because they need to qualify that. You have to have a passion for the ultimate result, but you got to be willing to do the stuff you don't love in order to be able to get to that result. If there's a promise that you want, there's a price that you have to pay.
Over time.
You know, so what's going on right now is people like, well, they said only do what I love, and I don't love recruiting, so I guess I shouldn't do this business. Only do what I love, and I don't like selling, so I guess I shouldn't do this business. I learned to sell and recruit because I love this.
Yeah.
I love community. I love connection. I love competition. I love camaraderie. I love friendship. I love seeing the world, helping each other, contribution into other people's lives, helping our customers, all this. So I love all that, but I hate the recruiting piece of it. Ugh, taking a drowning person and trying to rescue them while they're trying to drag you down with them.
Mm.
That's mentally how I would kind of approach this in my mind. It's like, okay, this person's drowning. They don't know they're drowning. I'm going to try and help them from drowning, and they're going to try and drown me. And
Yeah.
I don't like swimming that much. So I'd have to psych myself up. And I finally learned how to do it. I learned how to recruit on demand. I can recruit on demand any day I want without a problem. I'm not going to love it, but I'm willing to do it in order to get to the other side. There's a whole process.
I was just going to say, there's like a process that
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
we're talking. Oh,
Well, I'll give it to you in summary. Ready?
summary.
You need to find people to talk to.
Got it.
Okay. Today is easier than ever. Find people to talk to. Find prospects. 2, you need to have a conversation with them. Doesn't need to be a business conversation. You just need to have conversation. If there's something for your notes, all business is conversation.
Mm.
That's all it is. So you have a conversation with them. 3, this is where we lose most people. You need to pivot that conversation to a business conversation. When it's appropriate, when it makes sense, with a little bit of charm, a little bit of elegance, you need to pivot to a business conversation. Then you need to invite them to take a look at what you have, to learn about your potential solution that might be a fit for them. And then you need to learn how to present it to them in a way that's not all about you. Because if it's all about you, you're only going to recruit people who look up to you, and never people who think of themselves as the same, or never people above you, kind of like psychologically. You know what I'm saying? So if you're a 10, you're a super influential person, you're going to recruit 8s, they're going to recruit 5s, and those people are going to recruit 3s, and pretty soon nobody can afford to pay for the product, right? You have this group that kind of crumbles in on itself. So if it's all about you, it's a problem.
Yeah.
And if it's all about you, then you have to have all these skills and you have to be amazing and all this stuff. So you have to find a way to present that's not all about you. And then you need to keep the conversation going. You started this conversation, keep it going. And answer their questions, overcome their objections, help them understand, give them more information, keep the conversation going. And then when they're ready, help them make the decision. Don't twist arms. Don't try to strong arm anybody. Help them make the decision to be involved like a professional. So I learned at the beginning in level 1 in particular that the amount it takes to overwhelm a level 1 person is almost nothing. You can give them the tiniest task. I want you to make a list of 20 people. They're gone. They're out. Emotionally paralyzed. Seriously. I mean, ask them to do the tiniest thing. You have to dumb it down and make it so simple. Not saying that they're dumb. I'm just saying that they're new inside of this business and you need to make it very basic so they can take a step. And once things get into motion, they tend to stay in motion, right? So they have more conversations. They pivot those conversations. They invite, they present, they continue the conversation, they close, they help them get started, and then they go do it again. They build their confidence. They build their belief, because, hey, I just did that. Now I've got somebody on my team. Then once you get past level 1, then what are you going to do with the people that you brought in? Teach them to do exactly what you did. You might have some limiting beliefs about your ability to recruit. Like I have limiting beliefs about how fit I could be because I've tried it so many times. And you might have limiting beliefs about recruiting because, maybe you've tried it before and it hasn't worked out quite the way you want it to be. But I just want you to give yourself permission to dream for just a second. What would happen if you were able to add 10 new business building distributors to your business in the next 30 to 60 days? What would happen? Would you rank advance? Would you earn some bonus? Would you get a bigger check? Would you be proud of yourself? Would you build belief? Would you show your family that all this effort is worthwhile? Would you be a good example to whatever team you have right now? Would you get the attention of your upline that said, they're going to pour into you now because you've shown something? You'd get all of those things, right? So now think about anybody that's ever joined your team, whether they're active or inactive. Let me give you a secret. If somebody joined you at some point and they're not active anymore, why do you think they're not active? They thought they could recruit and then didn't. And here's what I will tell you. The reason why I care about this so much, this profession's been incredibly good to me and my whole purpose. I do think at some point you have all the shoes and you have all the bags and you have all the stuff. We have all kinds, our lifestyle is ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. After your lifestyle gets ridiculous and you're able to contribute to the causes that are important to you and you can help your family and do all the cool things, I would just tell you what is amazing is being able to contribute and help somebody else.
And I know, here's the thing, you guys, there was a woman that's making 7 figures that said, I don't like people in this industry. Think about that. Think about that for a minute.
Right. Well, and I'll bet you she came from some sort of background that was, where she probably wasn't treated well.
Yeah, trauma. Absolutely.
And she found a community where she was treated well. And she could, you know what's cool about what we do? We have the choice to only work with people that we like. We don't have to work with anybody you don't like. When you remember when people used to go to offices and sit in cubicles and they'd have to sit next to somebody they didn't like all day, every day?
Yes, it was exhausting.
Yeah, it was awful. People putting on fake smiles and, singing fake happy birthday songs when somebody in the office had a birthday and nodding in meetings that were meaningless for their whole existence.
Talking crap behind the corner.
Just hiding.
Yeah.
Just hiding and waiting for an annual review. That's what most people do.
Yep.
So there's another thing that's going on right now is people are saying, oh, you can work for yourself, be your own boss, be your own boss. But all they're describing is a job working for yourself, not a business. You can drive your Uber car. You can rent a room out of an Airbnb, job. You can, knit scarves and put them on Etsy, job. You can be a graphic designer, job. Show me something that you can start where you can have leverage. Where you can have scale, where you can build an army. Marina's built over 100,000 people on her team. Can you believe? Imagine that for just a second. How many people have you recruited, Marina, personally?
Probably all together since I got involved, 1,100.
1,100 people. So she knows what she's talking about also. Okay. So 1,100 people has turned into over 100,000. And you're a 7-figure earner now, yes?
Yep.
I want you to think about this. How many employees do you have, Marina?
For my brand?
No, I'm talking about for your network marketing business.
I don't have any employees.
0 employees.
None.
How expensive is your office building?
I don't have an office building.
How much did you have to invest in your inventory for your business?
I don't have to hold any.
How much did you have to spend for the business licenses to be able to operate all around the world?
I don't have to have any of those.
How much do you have to pay somebody to keep track of all the sales and make sure all the commissions are taken care of?
Not anything. No one. Not at all.
How
For me.
and you don't have to babysit any employees.
Nope.
You don't have to hire and fire.
Nope. I don't have to yell when the POs aren't filled right. I don't have to deal with
How
it.
much do you have to deal with the glass ceiling and being discriminated against with your check because you're a woman?
None.
0.
None.
What kind of dress code do you have to wear in order to be able to get a raise?
This is my favorite question. I can wear a bun on my head every day. Mom bun.
So show me something that can produce that anywhere on planet Earth. How much did you invest to start your business?
$399.
$399. Add that, $399. You did that and you turned into all the things I just described. Show me something, anything. I'll wait.
Yeah.
Please, let's debate. You present your opportunity to be able to create what she has with that investment and working hard, learning, becoming a pro, building your brand, of course, all that stuff. Show me. And show me something where you can get the attention of somebody like this woman and she'll mentor you. All you have to do is raise your hand and say, I'm willing, I'm coachable, I'm hungry. Teach me. And she will. I mean, like, come on. If you didn't recruit that same $399, you just sold products and you're an influential person, you got to build a big brand, all that stuff. How much would you have made? How long you been with your company?
My current company since 2017.
2017, 6 years. How much would you have made just selling product the last 6 years?
I'm not really good at just selling product because it's just like hard for me to just talk about products. So not maybe.
About how much?
I don't know. I probably make about $2,500 a month from product sales.
All right, so $2,500 a month, which is about $30,000 a year. That's after 6 years, and another 100 on top of it from building a team per month. Do you think it's important to recruit? Do you think it's important to teach people how to recruit? Like,
yes.
Come on, I'm just telling you. I've become unemployable. I know Marina is now unemployable.
Very.
It's like there's no job you could offer me that I would say, you know what, I'll go to work for you, because I get all of these benefits of, for me, working for myself. I work to help all of you, like Marina does, works to help all of you. But if you're working in a job that is paying you 10 cents on the dollar, if you are being tolerated instead of celebrated in the workplace, whatever you work for, you have to have an escape plan. You got to start mapping out your escape plan. You got to start digging holes in the wall. You got to start, take your fingernails and start digging a tunnel to get out of there. And step 1 of doing that, get you through level 1.
Eric, I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for being on, and just seriously, every time we have a conversation, I learn something new about you. And I love the story that you just shared about like being in the car and like sleeping in the car, and like that moment for you, it didn't stop you. And I'm just, thank you for sharing that, because I know a lot of people are in a place right now financially where they feel like there's just no way out.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing that piece. Thank you.
All right. Love you. I'll see you soon.
I love
Everybody have a
you.
great night.